Hey, welcome to the Live Edge episode number next. Tonight we got Mr. Mark Puente from Working the Grain Hardwoods here to answer all your hardwood questions or hard questions, whichever you got.
That's right.
This is my wife, Amy, and I'm Matt, and I messed it up again. I mess it up every week. Every week.
It's okay.
It's nerves. My nerves get me.
He gets so nervous. He's supposed to say,
I'm Matt.
I'm Amy.
This is 731 Woodworks.
Live Edge.
Live Edge. I messed it up again. I can't do it. It's impossible. I can't do it.
It's okay. He's so nervous. He doesn't know what it's like to be in front of a camera, guys.
It's really nerve-wracking, actually. And so tonight, if you have any question for Mr. Mark, hold them until I bring him on, and then you're welcome to ask him, and we'll try to catch those questions and give them to him. And then he's going to try to answer anything you have about buying hardwood, getting any types of hardwood, different species to use, et cetera, et cetera. I thought that would be a good idea, and he was more than gracious to come on with us and help us answer questions, since the previous video where I interviewed him was seems to be a pretty big hit for you guys, and I'm glad you got value out of it, because I probably got a whole lot more value out of that than you did. I was like a kid going to Disneyland when we pulled up. And,
he was so excited.
And he explained everything, and I'm building a workbench, and he's like, well, what do you need? And I'm like, I don't know. That's why I got you. So he was really helpful in helping me pick out everything. And he helped me figure it out and how much we needed. And it was just an awesome trip. Awesome trip. I want to give a shout out to Great Grandpa, who is a on-time viewer of ours. He sent me this awesome Wind biscuit jointer because I didn't have one. And he was asking me last week on the show if I had one. And it come in today. I haven't even unboxed it yet.
Hey, Bryson.
So that's going to be awesome.
Okay, so somebody asked if we knew Stephen Gentry. I don't know. Razorback fan asked that. I don't know Stephen Gentry.
I don't know Stephen Gentry. I
don't know.
It's possible.
Okay, so let's go ahead and do our Sawdust Spotlight.
Yep. Let me do that.
So the Sawdust Spotlight this time, it's Jeffrey Ganger. I love this. This was for his granddaughter, right? Something about for his granddaughter.
Yep.
Look at that.
For her birthday.
That's
fantastic.
Super cool. I love the little picket fence to the side.
I do too. Small details, man. That really sets things off when you can add little details. Like you see the window in the background as well. The little framed out window.
I didn't even notice that on the pink.
Yep.
Super cute.
That's awesome.
Love
good job.
That. So,
good job.
Good job. We'll give him a shout out after the show. If you're on our Facebook community, be sure to leave a comment on that so he knows that everyone appreciates his hard work. Make sure you hit that like button and go ahead and keep
I haven't, Bryson. If it's okay with you, I'll certainly show that.
What is it?
Of Daniel.
Oh, yes. Okay, y'all, check out this baby. I held this baby for a while. I got to hold him while
that's little Daniel. He's got his virtual fist bump sticker and his 731 Woodworks mug in front of him.
Look at that precious baby.
Yep.
Precious.
He is so wonderful. He's the sweetest and happiest and just the most gentle-natured little baby I've ever been around.
He is so happy. He's just a happy little guy.
When his dad left with him the other day and he took him back, of course I felt cold. Like he was so warm to hold. But I had like the little slobbered shirt, and I was like, oh, I miss having a baby so bad. It was wonderful.
Yep.
Oh, sorry.
Bryson's one of our Patreon members. Thank you, man.
We appreciate your support. Friend of ours.
Oh, yeah. So. Absolutely.
Hey, Becca. All right. You want to go ahead and bring Mr. Mark on?
Yep. Let's do it. Right. You ready, Mr. Mark?
Drop those states.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Mr. Mark Puente from Working the Grain Hardwoods. So, how did you get started with the woodwork, like with the hardwood business? Like, is that something you always wanted to do, or did you just wake up one day and said, I think I'm going to open a store?
So, Matt, I started by being a maker of awards and recognition plaques. And so I had to purchase materials, and I was working out of my garage. And my wife said to me one day, we have a 3-car garage and we don't park any cars in there. You're taking up all the space. So I ended up looking for a place to open up a shop, kind of a commercial space. And I said, some of the folks around Northwest Arkansas could sure use a hardwood distributor, especially exotics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made contact with some importers, made a capital investment, and opened up my shop / hardwood distributorship.
And it's awesome.
And it's been fantastic.
Awesome. So how long have y'all
We've been open since September of last year, 2020 is when we opened up.
Good deal.
So it's almost a year now, and we're doing well.
It's a awesome place. I mean, it's like
So
too much to choose from. I'm like, I want it all.
we left there and we were like, oh, the first thing he said to me, he said, I think we may have overstayed our welcome. We were there for a really long time. And I said, I love talking to his family. I talked to them and then I got to talk to you. We love talking to you guys. And the whole way back, he was going, so when we go back, when we go back, he kept saying it over and over and over. He's so ready to come back.
That's great. You're welcome anytime. Anytime.
He's so ready to go back now. That's a long drive coming back.
Yeah, it was going up there wasn't bad. Coming back, we had to drive a little slower. Had a little load on the truck, and so it took us about 5 hours, I guess, to get back. But I mean,
it took a little longer, and
we wanted to stop and eat somewhere. I'm like, I can't leave this wood in the truck unguarded.
That and it was our son's birthday, and we wanted to see him. So it was funny. It was a good trip, though. You have a wonderful family.
Very much so.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So,
how was your son's birthday?
I'm sorry.
Huh?
How was your son's birthday?
Oh, it was great. So he called me. We had made it to about Pine Bluff, and he was waiting at our house. He had gone to Little Rock that day, and he was waiting at the house, and he said, where are you guys at? And I said, we're right around Pine Bluff, heading out of Pine Bluff. And he said, well, do you want me to start driving toward you so that I can meet you? Because he was so concerned that we were not going to see him, because I've seen him on every birthday of his whole life. I said, no, I think we can get there in time. He was like, but Mama, you've only got like 40 minutes or something. So we did kind of have to step on it a little bit then. But we made it home, and we got to see him for 18 minutes of his birthday. It was 11:42.
Barely made it.
But it was fine because we spent the whole next day together, so it was good.
That's good.
It was a good trip.
203 Designs wants to know what would be the toughest hardwood to work with.
That'd be the hardest hardwood, and that would be something in the 3,000 Janka rating. And Cocobolo comes to mind, and some of your ebony hardwoods. Those are very, very hard woods, and they're what we call blade eaters.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Hey, Brother Rio.
Steve Kirkland said he bought one of your kits, and you were very helpful.
Hey, thank you, Steve.
I think those cutting board kits, those are really amazing.
They are.
So I go out in the garage, and our viewers know that I don't think they've ever seen me build anything, because I don't think I've ever built anything in the shop. I've assisted by holding things maybe, but
hold that sander for me.
So he texted me. Me and Mackenzie were in our classrooms working. He texted and he said, "Do you want to work on one of these cutting boards?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And so I come home for lunch, and he said, "You want to go out there and work on it?" And I said, "Yeah, let's do it." So we go out there, and guys, these kits that you can buy, they come with all the different wood you need, and it's all set up in a design. All you do is cut the little plastic thing off that's holding them together, whatever you call that, and then you just fold them down, you glue them, fold them back up, push them together with some clamps. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. I did not have to cut a single piece of wood to get it ready to go into this. The kit is all there for you. It's amazing.
All you have to do is square the ends up after you're done.
I awesome. Loved it. Yeah. So then we made Mo come out with one too, and I think she had a little bit of fun doing it. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I like.
You can get some colorful splinters out of those cutting boards, can't you?
Yeah. The glue will mess up your nails too. I'm just saying. I had some glue issues. That was my fault.
Wolfman321 wants to know, what is a good hardwood to build kids' toys with?
That's a good question. Some of the wider woods are easier for kids' toys because they take and adhere paint a lot better. So your hard maples, those are excellent. Your cherry, they don't splinter off and tend to break off. And I'm in the domestic realm. If you wanted to switch over to exotics, Mora's a good one. That's yellow in color, and it'll last a long time.
Coca-Cola, is that one of them?
He mentioned it earlier.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
Wayne Tinsley said that he's worked with Coca-Cola and it's a nightmare.
Yes.
And somebody
with
else
teeth.
said Coca-Cola turns on the lathe real nice. So those.
It does.
Yeah, those seem contradictory to me.
CDN Woodworker wants to know if you have a green door in your store.
No green door in my store. Although I saw Miss Amy eyeing it. I think she wants to change the color.
She did. We mentioned it on the way back. Yeah. So I had never made a cutting board, and I made 2 yesterday out of those kits, and man, they come out good. And so I used that method you showed me that the MGM or MTM Woodworks, a Russian YouTuber, makes them.
Right.
And
yes.
Is it MGM or MTM? Something like that.
MTM.
MTM Woodwork. So he uses PVC pipe to keep them flat. And so I went to the store and picked up a couple of little section of 2-inch PVC and come back and screwed them to some 2x4s, and man, they come out good. And I run them now. I have one that I could sand, and the other one I was like, I'm not sanding all that. Sent it through the planer and flattened that sucker. I mean, it was just took all the glue bits what I couldn't wipe off, and it was just really easy. And they come out looking nice.
Tim K says, I emailed Mark and received the price list immediately. Great service. And placing my order tomorrow. Crazy. Awesome. I have to go out of Florida to find good service. Found my new supplier.
That's awesome.
Thank you for your super chat, Tim K. That's great. So Becca says, Matt, you haven't ever wanted to touch a cutting board with a 10-foot pole, but so stoked that it's worked out for you. Yeah, so Mr. Mark has changed you.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it a little bit too much, probably. It's just especially after you. So when the glue up process, there's some glue dripping everywhere and stuff. But like today, when I took them out of the clamps, I let them stay overnight in the clamps. And when I took them out of the clamps and I got everything sanded, man, they look pretty. I don't have any oil on them yet. And I was going to ask you, so some people say to bathe them in mineral oil for over, several hours. And some people say just wipe some whatever on there and let them bump. I'm kind of in the let them bathe a little while. What do you think?
I think bathing them for a little while is good. And then you can go ahead and put a wood wax on there that's food safe. So food safe mineral oil is the important part here. Mm-hmm. And it should be mentioned that there are different types of mineral oils. But food safe is what you want to use.
I ordered 2 gallons off of Brother Rio's recommendation off of Amazon, food safe mineral oil. Should be here in the next day or two. That's what I'm waiting on to oil those boards up with.
Fantastic.
Hey, Lloyd, what's up?
Lloyd's in the house. He says for me to leave the green door alone and to tell Mighty Matt and Mr. Mark, glad to see you here, sir.
Thank you.
Just Etheridge, did you use Tight Bond wood glue? I did. I used Tight Bond 3, Mr. Mark supplies, and he does supply a 4-ounce bottle of Tight Bond 3 with your wood your cutting board kit purchase. Couldn't get that out.
So on your cutting board kits, Mr. Mark, can you talk about the different ones that you have available? Like, did they get to go through and pick?
Yeah, there's 4 kits available right now.
Did you talk about
I think, Matt, do you still have pictures of those available? Maybe you could put up?
I can actually pull your website up.
Okay. The cutting board kits are generally 11.5 to 12.5 inches wide, depending on the style that you have, by 23 inches long by 1.5 inches tall. So this is a hefty cutting board. This could be a charcuterie board if you wanted, actually. And you could get 2 cutting boards out of it if you were to cut it where you right in half. So it's a great value at just $60 plus your tax and shipping with the Tight Bond 3.
So you got one
so these come
one the NWA, 1727, one Archie, right?
Right. So I have to ask Amy, which one's your favorite?
So my favorite is the
The NWA?
No,
Archie?
the Archie.
Yeah.
Not the Archie, but Mo's favorite was the Ozark.
Mm-hmm. And she liked the Archie because it has that yellow strip in the middle. That's what caught her eye.
That's what caught me. That Mora that ran down that middle of that one. I was like, oh, yeah, that one got me.
Brother Riv says,
cannot wait to see it finished.
Brother Riv says, I've read that Wingate dust is harmful. What other hardwoods need extra precaution?
So that's a good question. And Wingate dust is harmful. They're saying that's all sawdust, that if you breathe it in and you don't have a mask, which you use, Matt, you mentioned earlier, can be harmful to you. So you want to make sure that you handle it like any other dusty area. Make sure that you wear the proper mask while you're cutting and you have dust collection. Hint, hint, Matt.
Hint taken.
Everybody's been telling him that. He's listening.
Man, it's like you gotta spend money on that to collect dirt. I mean, come on, man.
Gary DeRuiter says walnut can be harmful.
I do need it.
Wise Woodwork says all are harmful.
Yeah.
So.
Somebody want to know, Travis Crabtree wants to know, are they end or edge grain cutting boards?
So they're not end grain. These are edge right now. And what we do is we take the cutoffs, and we're a responsible vendor for hardwoods. And so if we have 2 foot or possibly 3 foot left over, we'll cut those down to 23 and a half and make cutting board slats out of it and then sell them at a true value cost.
Awesome.
So our customers get a chance to partake in exotic woods where they wouldn't normally be able to at this size.
That's awesome.
On that same sort of note there, do you sell blanks for making, because I know we mentioned that you sell the blanks to make
on the members only,
but we did that on members only. Do you also sell blanks for making duck or goose calls? Would those work the same, or are they a different size?
They would be a different size, I would think.
Robin Rimp wants to know.
We sell turning blanks that are available, and those certainly can be turned down to the duck call size. I don't specifically carry a duck call turning blank,
right?
But I do have others that are available.
Okay, so Robin Rimp, you might want to reach out, get on his website and look, because he ships. So, so get on there and look. Go ahead and put his website name on the screen.
Ray Rodriguez says, how much are the kits? And they are $60 plus tax and shipping, correct?
Correct.
You were having trouble with that thing tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, this mic is me and him finna fight. Matthew Dyer says, are hardwoods usually sold at full dimension thickness? The stuff we get at work or not? It's 4 quarters, 15/16, 5 quarters, an inch and 3, etc. Just wondering if that's normal.
So yeah, the industry standard is 4 quarter, can be milled, or what we would call dimension down, to 15/16, sometimes even 13/16, which I do not prefer. I like the larger size. Some of my hardwoods come to me thicker, and they'll clean up pretty nicely, and they're at a full 1 inch, and I do not have to take them down to the 15/16.
I just wrote on your desk by accident.
You did what? My brand new desk?
Yeah.
How you gonna write on my desk?
I erased it. It's okay.
What woods are good for a shower bench?
Oh.
Teak wood is a good wood for a shower bench.
Is teak?
It allows it with a net.
Is teak one of those that were endangered or no?
So actual teak wood it's on the endangered species list. So other teak family trees like Iroko is a substitute that's available, and I do sell Iroko. Also, Ipe is good. If you take a look at any woods that are good for decking material that are exotics, those will also work in that shower environment. But I would recommend you sand it really nicely, because if not, you'll be sorry.
So you're
So-
saying not to make it out of pine.
Not to make it out of pine.
So Jason Priestler wants to know, which he says he wants to order him a kit soon. He says, what is the best looking red color wood for a cutting board with hard maple? I've heard some red colored woods turn real deep or possibly brown as they age. I'd like it to stay brighter red. It's a long question.
Yeah, that is. And it has a couple qualifiers there.
Okay.
So Padauk is an orange-red color, and it tends to have a dust that will bleed over to a lighter color if you have it right next to it on a cutting board. So Bloodwood also has a little bit of a color staining that'll come across, especially if you were to color it with a lacquer. It'll bleed. They call that, ironically, the name Bloodwood. But I would try red palm. That would be my recommendation. It does not bleed.
There you go, Jason. Red palm.
Austin Parker wants to know which hardwood is good for dining room tables.
Well, you could really go with anything you like because of the color pattern. It just depends on the size of the table and what you have for legs and support underneath the apron and so forth.
Mm-hmm. I know walnut's pretty popular for tops.
Sure. Color combinations, that's the neat thing about hardwoods, is you could use a walnut top with light maple accents or even reds or any other color combination you want to glue up. There's a lot of variances out there that you could put together.
Brother Riss says, what planer do you use? His planer is on the Fritz, and he has the 735 like I've got. What other planer would you recommend? He primarily works with hardwoods. Helical heads are awesome, he hears, and pricey.
Oh, yeah. And so you caught me at a crossroads, Brother Riff, because I have the 735 myself, and it's done wonderful getting me to this point. But I think I'm going to look at a helical head. Grizzly has a nice option. It's a floor mount, and it's a 20-inch. It's still in the 220 volt range with a helical head. They've just been on back ordered for such a long time because of the demand. Everything.
I can tell. I'm sorry.
What word is that? I want to make sure I say it right.
Rubo bench? Oh, I've never heard of that. Have you heard of a Rubo bench? Robo bench?
It's R-U.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, Matthew Roberts is saying that he's working on one of those for his father and wanted to know if you have a lumber kit for something like that. It's R-U-B-O-U. I don't know what that is. Maybe he could clear that up. Matthew, if you're listening.
Yep, have Matthew email me.
Okay. And
I'll be happy to talk with him.
And what's your email for everybody to hear?
It is wtg.hardwoods@gmail.com.
So Matthew, we're gonna.
I'll repeat that.
In the chat. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You got it. wtg.hardwoods@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And we put it on the screen for you also and in the chat. So if any of you have questions like that and they don't get answered tonight, if we miss them, then make sure you reach out to them, okay?
Metcalf Design says a 20-inch jet helical head is beast.
Yeah, they're nice. They don't, one of the neat things about a helical head, and your viewers probably can contest to it if they have used a helical head in the past, is some of that figured wood that you have, like the curly maple and the bird's eye maple, and even your favorite leopard wood won't tear out going through the planer with a helical head. They will with a straight blade knife. And so it can actually, with a helical head, not require a drum sander. It'll save you some time.
I was watching Jonathan Katz Moses's shop tour video he posted Sunday, and he's got the 735. He put a helical head in it. He said that it reduced the noise by like 20-30 decibels just putting a helical
head. Quite a bit.
I'll put my
and they last a long time.
Yeah.
But he also, during that same shop tour, if you noticed, he had this, I don't know if it was a wood miser, and it had over 400 of those little heads, those cutter heads. was amazing.
Yeah, and he said he got that for like $400 or something.
Not that one.
Yeah, quite amazing.
He bought it at an auction or something. Like he got a steal on it.
He said it did wood up to 24 inches wide.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be so nice. I don't know
So
where it's at.
SoCal Wood Designs
This one?
wants to know if you sell bowl blanks to make those wood bowls, and then Justin wanted to know what bowl blanks are.
Yes, absolutely. We carry the larger size, which are 3 inches thick,
Uh-huh.
6 by 6, 10 by 10, and we also have a 12 by 12. Now that's pretty big because that's cut out of a piece of timber. And there's the neat thing about bowl blanks are they're still wet. They're not cured, air dried 100%, but they seal them with a wax. And when you turn a bowl blank, you want to make sure that it is still wet, and you turn it a second time to get your final shape. And so we carry it Spalted Tamarind, which is a natural product. And then also we have Giancarlo Elvis, beautiful orange color. And then we have Caribbean Rosewood,
Those
and many others. So check us out on our website.
They sound nice.
the names sound beautiful. Could you kind of explain
Yeah.
what a bowl blank is for some of ours that don't understand?
Yep. Think of it as a big block of wood that's squared up, and you will put it onto a lathe, and you can trim off the edges so that you can start to turn it, and you can carve out a nice serving bowl, a platter, or you can also glue together some of these bowls and make them deeper. So it's really amazing to be able to come up with a product like that in its natural state. What's even more amazing, in my opinion, is the fact that you can glue them together and they match up almost perfectly.
Really?
So you don't have to worry about grain patterns going which way.
Yeah.
They're just amazing.
That's
Oh
awesome.
my goodness. Well, since we're talking about all these beautiful woods, I want him to show everyone my beautiful leopard wood.
Oh, it's gone. Sorry.
You took it away?
There it is.
There it is. So for those of you, if you've never seen leopard wood, you gotta check this out.
Yeah, it's beautiful wood.
So pretty.
And there's nothing on that other than Odie's oil. And that's like a really...
The purple heart is beside it in the picture.
Really simple build. Just use dowels to make a little...
So both of those woods came from
heart.
Mr. Mark. Yep. Y'all, that wood is beautiful. If you've never seen leopard wood, go get you some.
It is nice.
Oh, love it. I want to make everything out of leopard wood. I don't know why.
Dexter Butler wants to know why you use the term F3S instead of S3S.
Finished on 4 sides. So that's the reason why.
Okay. So instead of surface.
Finish on 3 sides.
Yeah.
Right.
Brother Riv says he can spray a mist of water on maple and doesn't get tear out in the planer.
That's awesome. That's a good tip. That could be your power tip, man.
That's right.
Jonathan Haney said that word is pronounced rubau.
Rubau?
Rubau.
Or rubo. B-O-W could be bow or bow.
That's true, so we're still confused. Mr. Jim Williams says that it's a famous French woodworker.
Oh.
Rubau. I don't know. I'm so confused now.
ENZ Print says Paducah smells like bacon.
That's my kind of wood.
And bloodwood, when it cut, it has the sweetest smell.
Really? Oh, that's the one
really,
yeah. Because for some reason, I'm always thinking blood orange when y'all talk about that bloodwood. I immediately think of blood orange scent.
2M Builds wants to know what's the best way to store the lumber that your new lumber that you get, say if they buy it from you, to acclimate it to their shop.
Yeah, that's a great point. Acclimating your wood to your environment is key before you use it. You want to be able to set it out where it can be flat, not in contact with concrete, because it will wick up moisture. And so if you could set it into an ambient temperature where the wood actually has a chance to move and settle back down into its natural state, it'll be a better project in the long run for you. Long-term storage, you're going to want to put it on a rack. And so that has support every 4 feet or 3 feet, depending on how many points of attachment that you have. So, a lot of viewers may have storage that isn't climate controlled, Matt, like your garage.
Right.
You have an air conditioner out there now, right?
No, I don't. Not yet.
Well,
Supposed to be here tomorrow.
It's coming
No.
tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. So the garage storage is okay. It'll be fine. If it's been kiln dried, there's a key word there. It's been taken down to a moisture of a single digit, depending on the species of wood and how long it's dried in the kiln will determine how much moisture temperature will penetrate it. And that is important to know, that even though it's been kiln dried, it will accept moisture from its environment around it. So you want to check it. Moisture meter is important. You can pick them up inexpensively that does surface moisture testing at Harbor Freight. You can get them online. I've seen some of them as low as $35. I don't know how great they are, but you can pick them up and use them. So air dried, there's nothing wrong with it. In my opinion, you can use it, but I just happen to prefer the kiln dried method.
Is the lumber you're selling kiln dried?
All 100%, both domestic and exotics are kiln dried, except for the turning blades.
Thank you, Michael.
Somebody want to know if you had a coaster kit.
Oh, that's a good question.
I do now.
So my thinking is, so I was looking at the cutting boards that we got from you for the kits. Hers, I've got to cut down to go underneath or inside that piece that I made out of leopard wood. So I'm going to have a strip that I'm going to cut off of there. I don't know that it's going to, and it's already going to be, it's just going to be thick. Well, if I had a bandsaw, make some coasters out of them things like that. But that's what I was thinking. It's like if you cut
Jason
off
said
enough.
Not to get you started on your AC, by the way.
If you cut off enough, you could use an offcut off of your cutting board to make some matching coasters because they're already glued up.
Well, Matt, one of the viewers had asked if they're end grain cutting boards, and I didn't really think much about it, but you could actually slice up the 23.5-inch long board. It would make a smaller end grain cutting board, but you could certainly take all those colors and make a collage type of pattern that's there, or a chaotic pattern.
Mm-hmm.
You could certainly do that.
Mr. Jackie McAllister wanted to say thank you to both of you for the video. He said he really appreciated it and he learned a lot. He's always avoided going into stores like that because he did not fully understand the wood. And so
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, had it not been for Mr. Mark, I don't know how long I would have waited to actually go. I've been looking online at stores near me. There's some in Little Rock, and I was like, I always wanted to go. I was like, man, I don't know. I don't look like no dummy, so I wouldn't go. So I really appreciate
it. We should be helping you. That you're a customer, right?
But people don't. They don't like.
So
you don't think about it that way.
Intimidated.
You don't, because you're like, I don't want to go in there. I've just been making stuff out of 2x4s and 2x6s from Home Depot. I don't want to go in a hardware store and not know what I'm talking about or make it. They don't want you to, like, it's almost where you don't want people to think you're just a dummy and don't know what you're doing.
Well, I think people get embarrassed if they don't know what they're asking you. I think he even felt that way. He was like, I don't really know anything about this. And I think your video kind of helped people get a basic understanding, and it made them feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
And ready to go in there. So I think that's what
I think a lot of it has to take in a servant leadership approach to helping people.
Yeah.
So I think that's important. If you have a servant heart, it's easier to have that dialogue and that conversation.
I agree. Yeah. I think everybody can see that from your tone, the way you talk, the way you present yourself. You've got a servant's heart. And like the instant we walked in, I was at ease. I was like, this is cool.
We left and I was like, I got to meet all three of his boys and they were just all wonderful. His family is just so beautiful. Y'all, Mr. Mark has a beautiful family. One of his boys were not in the picture at the end of the video because he had left, the middle one. But it was super cool. It was so neat seeing your boys, their different personalities. So I found that interesting.
Adam Booth wants to know, why is Spalted Tamarind spalted all the way through? but spalted maple only spalted on the surface?
That's a good question.
That's a great question. The tree spalted tamarind actually grows that way. So it's not in 100% decay when it goes all the way through the wood, where decay tends to happen with a domestic species after it sets for a period of time. So you'll get some beautiful colors that come out of the spalted tamarind, caramels, blacks, colors that are streaked through, browns. You also get some yellow and even orange. It's pretty amazing to see.
Yeah, that spalted tamarind's really pretty.
William Cardwell says he loves your shirt.
Thank you.
He
Says
also
God is great.
he
All
also
right, God's got
wants,
this.
yeah, God's got this. He can't keep himself together tonight. And he wants to know when I'm gonna do a hardwood project. Can I say that the leopard wood
it
was
is.
my project?
No. The cutting board's a hardwood project.
Oh, the cutting boards are okay. Well, I did that. I glued it.
She glued it today.
I did that.
We missed the power tip. Stephanie Liz.
Oh, I know. They put the tangent alarm, but I did. Okay, so
we'll do power tip at the end.
Yeah, well, Stephanie put the little alarm thing in there. Stephanie has to help in here. Oh my goodness. What's the easiest hardwood to work with? Patrick Kerfoot wants to know that. The easiest hardwood to work with.
Maple. Maple is the easiest hardwood, yes.
I think maple is pretty.
Very forgiving wood.
It's a beautiful wood to make.
Finish is wonderful.
Bird's eye is probably my favorite maple. I know your wife is a fan of the quilted, right?
Right.
She was showing me that she was spraying water on it to show me the different. Oh, it was pretty cool.
Figures, yeah.
Yeah, she knows.
You know what's amazing about
What?
What's amazing about maple is that you can tell the species of the wood, if it's going to be a red maple or if it's going to be a silver maple or other sugar maple. But when you open up the tree after it's fallen and you take a look at the grain, you get surprised by bird's eye being in that tree. You don't know that before you fall it. It's one of those mysteries that you get, especially some of the figured maple, which we call curly. Now you can tell by Pacific maple, which is James King from King's Fine Woodworking's favorite. He really likes working with that. That it's going to have a lot of pillowing. Looks like clouds almost in the wood, and it's a lighter brown rather than a pure white like most maple is. So it's really a gift when you open up a tree like that and find those figured pieces.
That's pretty cool. I missed it on here. I meant to say it. It was. Oh, here it is. J&S Custom Woodwork says that next time he goes to Branson, he's taking a detour so that he can come by. His name's Jeff Coleman. He said he's going to come by to your wood shop to see you. And then B&D Woodworking said the hardwood dealer that they go to, he acts like you're bothering him if you have to ask him a question. And that's the only dealer in the area. Yeah, he said it just.
I just don't get that.
Yeah.
But that's not just hard it's not just that business. That's a lot of people's business are like that. You go into a retail store and the clerk's like, you're bothering them if you ask them about, do you have any clothes in the bag or something you're looking for? I think it's just they don't have that servant's heart like you were talking about.
Yeah. B&D, I'm sorry you have to go through that.
Reach out to Mr. Mark. He'll take care of you.
Yep, he ships. I know that it's a limit on the shipping, though, isn't it?
8 foot long, right?
8 foot long, yep. And we could freight out, do a LTL, and we can also do UPS on freight shipments. So,
Robin Rimpt
is what I always say.
Robin Rimpt. What's a good wood to build a door out of? My 105-year-old house front door has warped after 105 years. I'm leaning toward mahogany.
I would agree with him. Or sapele. That's a great wood. Nice ribboning on the sapele, and it takes stain just as beautiful as can be. Or you can leave it natural. It is a fantastic, although it isn't Amy's favorite color, you can certainly get it close with a stain.
So you're saying sapele is green, So if we replace that door, we can just make a Sapile door. That may be a good video.
You need to behave. I'm not gonna let you get your air conditioner installed.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Dexter Butler wants to know what moisture percentage should the wood be. He's always heard 6 to 8%.
That is about correct. Depending on the type of wood, the harder the wood, the less likely you're going to get it down to that moisture level of 6 to 8. But 9 is acceptable in some woods. But if you go any higher than that, it's still wet and needs to spend more time in the kiln.
Adam Booth says black walnut is often steamed. Why? Is this done to many other woods? I've never heard that.
Yes, it is. And the reason why it's steamed is that when you cut it, it's a lot like other woods. And what happens is the ink that makes it the walnut color dark isn't coming to the surface because it's been freshly planed. And so steaming it draws out that ink color that you'll see, that dye in the wood. It's natural.
I always learn so much when I'm around Mark.
I know.
You
just need to spend a day with him.
That's right. What's the least expensive hardwood to work with?
Least expensive. Thinking through this. So exotic or domestic?
Domestic.
I would say on the domestic side of it, birch, which is a really nice wood, is probably one of the least expensive. You can get into some of the maples, the softer maple, and cherry. A southern cherry will work out of Missouri and Arkansas area.
Mm.
Those are nice.
William Cardwell said he's going to be watching this video again and again. AGT takes a back seat. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Robin Rimped, I can't call you Rob because I like saying Robin Rimped. I'm sorry. I just like that.
Wolfman says, what is the best way to store hardwood in a home shop to prevent warping?
That goes back to having a rack that you can have supported every 3 to 4 feet. And that way you have at least 6 to 8 inches from the ends, a support that's there. There's a lot of great wall racks that are available through Grizzly. They sell an affordable one. Yeah, I think Rockler also has one as well.
I saw one on Rockler the other day. It was like $35 or something. It was like a 4-tier rack that you attach to your wall. I've got Husky shelves in my shop that I bought at Home Depot for storage, and 1 or 2 shelves is just lumber storage. If it's a long piece, I can just slide it in there, and it does just great on there.
ENZ Print Company, yes, he ships. He'll ship to Jersey.
Jersey.
Mr. Mark, are you familiar with Woodworker's Source in Phoenix, Arizona? William wants to know.
Mark, yes, Mark is a fantastic YouTube host, and he has put out video content for years.
I was watching
and does an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
Becca Mayberry wants to know. She's one of our family, like everybody else is here. She wants to know how long on average would it take wood to settle back down in your shop after acclimating?
So you can speed up the process by applying some weights, just as long as it's evenly spaced underneath, so it sets flat. It doesn't go beyond flat. I have a couple weights. Matt, you've got some in your shop, but I think you use them for a different purpose. That's it. And they certainly help with drying up wood because there is movement when wood glue dries. We normally clamp them up, but we don't see sometimes when they twist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ever so slightly, but that weight will help you keep things true. So it's the importance of a glue up table, right? And you're building one, Matt.
That's right.
And if it's level and it's true, good torsion box design, you'll have true furniture that you're building off of the top of it.
Mm-hmm. I hope it is. It may be whopped up till I get done with it.
I just noticed these horrible dollar circles. Oh, Lord. Ed Adams has a very good question. Wants to know, is sawdust good to use as a mulch? And if so, are there any that would be harmful to plants to put on them? You know, Oh, interested in that.
You know, I know that they use sawdust, pine, I believe it is, and some maples for chicken coops, but I'm not sure if they're good for plant material as a composting material. You may have to compost it first before applying it.
I would think it would attract bugs and
That's
stuff.
what I was thinking. Bugs.
Well, especially treated wood, you do not want to use any treated wood in the ground, so around your plants and so forth.
Randy Green wants to know: is sweet gum wood good for making anything, or is it softwood or hard?
So sweet gum is not considered to be a true hardwood. It is beautiful in finishing out, and I have a lot of folks make pens out of sweet gum. I'll tell you a little story. In Bentonville here, we have the Walmart home office. And on our campus, when it was originally built back in the 60s, there was a sweet gum tree that was there. And Mr. Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, used to park his red Ford pickup truck underneath the red gum tree that was there. And recently a storm came through and it finally fell.
Aw.
And they collected it all up and they made pens for a bunch of folks
That's
out
awesome.
of that tree.
That is
It
pretty.
was pretty neat to see.
That is. Did you get your hands on one of them pens?
I sure did.
Oh, that's awesome.
I sure did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Stephanie says that she composts the sawdust, but no treated wood or any chemical stain or paint or anything.
She's got the right idea.
Yeah. Metcalf Design says domestic hardwoods do good for garden topper, but the dust could be bad for chickens in a coop, though.
Yeah.
I would think the dust, like if you had some shavings, it probably wouldn't be as bad as if you had just sawdust, like coming out of a sander or something.
Oh, no.
I would think.
You know, I think you're right, Matt, because it's a respiratory irritant for anybody breathing it in, whether it's animal or human. So.
Now, David Gardu makes a good point. He says sawdust will draw nitrogen away from your plants as it decomposes, and after that, it will be a beneficial soil amendment.
I think you butchered his last name, though.
Gadru. Yeah.
Gadro? I don't know. Shavings are fine, is what Matt says.
You have been gracious enough to tell us that we're going to be able to give away one of your cutting board kits to a viewer tonight. And so we want to pick somebody out of the crowd, and I don't really have a system to do this. Is there any question that stood out to you as being awesome?
Or do you want...
Well, I think it would be best if you picked the winner.
Oh, I'm going to put it on her.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so I actually, I can do this.
You got this?
I got this. So you don't mind if whoever we pick, right? Nobody out there's going to
Don't mind.
Is anybody going to get mad if you don't win?
Anybody going to get mad? Because I do have somebody in mind. Somebody stood out to me in a comment they made earlier. So earlier in the chat, we had a viewer say that they planned, they're on here with us every week. So many of you are.
Yeah.
But they said that they were wanting one of your kits, but they were going to have to wait until payday to get it. So how about we offer it to that person? How's that sound?
Sounds awesome.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, that person, yep. Jason Priestler.
Congratulations, man.
Jason, I remember you saying that earlier in the night. So
you Jason just send me an email, Jason. We'll get you hooked up, or you can email. Yeah, just send me an email because I think I've already got your email. So you just send me one and I'll forward it on to Mark.
Oh, you guys are so sweet. They're all excited for Jason. That's the kind of community we have on here. That's why we're such a family. Everybody on here is so gracious.
Good people.
So, Matt, if you'll have Jason just go to my website and pick one that he wants and let you know, we can go from there.
We'll do it.
Sounds
You can just
great.
go to wtghardwoods.com.
Oh, Jason said he's got goosebumps. That's awesome. See, I pay attention sometimes to the chat.
Yep. So I got a question for you. All right. So I glued up. I've got both of my assembly table. Both end frames are made. I haven't made the side frames connected to the 4 legs. I don't know if I'm doing 6 or so legs, but anyway, glued up. Glue squeeze out on walnut. Best way to get that off of there.
Scraper.
That's what I was using.
Like you could, yeah, you can. There's a scraper with a knob handle at the head,
Oh, I need one of
and
those.
you can pull it back and forth. Yeah, you can pick them up at the home centers,
Yeah, we don't have
and it's the easiest way. No. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to put one in the mail to you, Matt.
No, I can order. Yeah, so I think I know what you're talking about. I think we had one time to scrape, scraping wallpaper off the wall at one time. Remember that thing? It had like a handle, like.
Yes.
So I've got some
That was a
card
long
scrapers of
time
different
ago.
thicknesses, and that's what I was using today. I was trying to get the majority of it. I got about 20, 30 minutes to kind of gum up, and I was getting most of it off, but I
You
want
forgot
to.
the dot when you put something on there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You know, you can take a damp cloth and wipe it off the glue. That's probably the easiest way to go.
Yeah, my concern though is that pretty much since it's a water-based glue, according to the Wood Whisperer, it basically smears it more into the wood instead of letting it kind of gum up and then taking a scraper and getting it off. That's kind of the approach I was going with.
So John Peters with the Concord, I think he is called the Concord Woodworker. He actually takes sawdust from the same material and throws it on top of it to soak it up, and then wipes it away. So that helps hide the glue joint.
That's
genius. And I
genius.
thought that is genius. Yeah.
I'm going to do that for the rest of the project. It's going to be on the video. Like, do this because John Concord says so. Let's see. Got a couple more questions coming through before we let you go. Ruben Valverde says, do you guys sell glued up boards to make them wider? I live in an area where there aren't any good hardwood suppliers for about 200 miles.
No, we can't, but if he contacts me, I can probably help him out.
Mm-hmm. So if he needed
I'll have him reach out to me.
Yeah. Woodworking in Wheelchair 71 wants to know if you have coaster kits.
That's another one. That's
another one. So he's going to be adding coaster kits, he said, right?
That's right.
Somebody want to know if you know of any hardwood clones.
They're really interested.
Clones.
Yes, there's more than one person asking about it. They're serious.
No, not that I can think of. That's a new one on me.
Yeah, y'all have stumped Mr. Mark.
Some musk of walnut or something.
I know if you cut green walnut, you'll have to check the bottom of your shoe to make sure you didn't step in something, but it can be pretty stinky.
Stink it up.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh gosh. Oh, who was
it? Smells just like the walnuts that drop on the ground.
Oh, we're gonna come up with some musk of maple and offer it for sale.
Yeah.
Somebody said teakwood.
Oh, that's nice.
That was Bryson.
Teakwood bath and bee.
Yeah.
That was before I read it. It was Bryson. Oh my Lord.
All right. So Married Man wants to know. He's a very regular viewer of ours. When you're wiping woods with acetone, how long do you wait before adding the glue, and what amount of time is too long?
Well, if you're him, half a second.
It's gone, buddy. You wipe it on there, boom, it's gone.
That's what he did today.
The acetone will evaporate pretty quickly. Yeah, you could do it within about a minute or so. You're ready to go.
I'm sure it's probably a minute.
He had me put all this glue on. First, he was telling me to squeeze it out, and I couldn't because of my arm. So he was like, let me squeeze it for you. And he was squeezing out enough to take a bath in, and I'm trying to catch all the glue. And then he's like, oh, wait, I was supposed to wipe that with acetone here. And he starts wiping half of it with acetone. Half is already glued. And then he
So
wipes
it
it
may
and
not
then he
stick.
pours glue all over it, and I'm like, oh my Lord, I don't know what we're doing. So if
I'm
you
I'm
sure
find,
it'll be
I'm
fine.
I'm a believer. I'm a believer of as much glue as you could possibly get onto it. Uh,
I ain't scared of that
that's
good thing.
good.
I would rather it have too much and it all comes out when it squeezes together and starts squeezing out than I miss some and it not glue up.
oh goodness,
Sure.
it was funny. Moosework says, thank you for the price list.
Yep, that's Mooseworks.
Uh,
He
You're
asked me to
welcome.
get that.
You're welcome.
Somebody had one more question.
Stephanie wants to know, is there a network of hardwood dealers? Like, do you have some type of convention or official organization that you join?
Yeah, there is. There's the National Hardwood Dealers Association that's available, and we're not a part of a larger group like home centers would be for Home Depot or Lowe's. But what we do is buy responsibly and responsibly harvest trees so that the environment is protected.
That's awesome.
We don't set prices, although there is a national walnut price sheet that's available, and if you choose to follow that index, you would price your wood, and that is so walnut is harvested in a responsible manner and not just harvested for the fact that there's a supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
That we actually have a price that's set to give back to planting trees and able to replenish God's renewable resource, which is the wood.
That's awesome. So I was watching something that said that walnut is actually not that plentiful, that it's actually a fairly rare species of tree.
There's a couple different species of walnut trees that are available in the United States, southern walnut or American walnut, and then there's black walnut, which you'll find in the northern states, colder climates,
Mm-hmm.
and into Canada. So it is a amazing wood,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely, with its purple and its color patterns, the sapwood for contrast. You can see browns in there and black in color.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, William Cardwell.
So
Would rather watch us than Bob Vila any day.
Yeah.
Pasquale
that's
DeMarzo
good.
says, thank you so much to Mr. Mark for joining us tonight. He said he appreciates your time and your advice. And then Stephanie says
Glad
that
to be here.
you're the president of that organization. So
Mooseworks wants to know if there's any danger of running out of any hardwoods. So I guess some that are on the endangered
So
list.
I think we do a pretty good job by identifying the endangered species trees and stopping the harvesting and give it a time to recover and plant and let a full cycle go by. And it's not a short period of time. Sometimes it can be 30, 40 years before a species comes back or begins to recover
Mm-hmm.
from the harvesting that we have. American mahogany is a perfect example of that, or genuine mahogany. And so as we built furniture over the years, we really depleted the inventory of trees that we had available to us. So trees go through a lot of change in their environments, weather, bugs, and expansion of growth
Fires.
of our cities and our population. Exactly. And so as they compete to survive in the wilderness, they also provide us with shelter, homes that we can build, furniture, and other things that we need in our lives to make ourselves
YouTube.
comfortable. And we have to be responsible, yes, stewards of that wood
That's
and that
right.
environment.
That's right.
do you ship to Canada?
Yeah.
Justin
He said earlier
Eldridge.
he could.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Justin, he said he could. And then we also, Don Grundy wants to know the color on the ends of the wood planks. Does that mean the type of wood, or is it just a manufacturer mark?
What do you mean?
Is the color?
Oh, that's the sealer for the end grain is what they're talking about.
No, it would
Because
depend.
the wood will check.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a sealant color. It could be for the species of the wood. Um, sometimes they're green, blue, white, or yellow, depending on whatever marking system that particular manufacturer or lumber facility uses.
Okay.
Last question before I let you go. I don't want to keep you too long. ENZ Print wants to know, is sapwood as strong as the hardwood, or is it just a color difference?
So sapwood tends to be just slightly softer. And it's a good question because oftentimes folks think of sapwood as a defect, and it's not. It's a part of the tree. And if you ever see a live edge, like the name of your show,
Yeah.
it is really a great contrast. It's all a part of the same tree. And it should be used. And we see that in charcuterie boards. Walnut has a beautiful sapwood.
Yeah, it does. Actually, one of the aprons that I've got cut out there now for the workbench is, it's only 1.5 inches, but some of that sapwood comes up just a little. It just gives it a little something extra. I like
little
it.
something.
Oh, man.
Oh my goodness! Well, everybody's loved having you on here tonight.
It's been
Mr.
awesome.
Mark.
Awesome. You have anything,
Thank you so much for having me.
anything else you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, reach out to me. I'm here to help you. And if you have questions, I'll be glad to engage with you. And hopefully I get back to you in a timely manner.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Where can they find you
At wtg.hardwoods@gmail.com or the website, which is workingthegrainhardwoods.com.
It's WTG Hardwoods.
Or WT. Yeah, correct.
And then your own social media also, right? Instagram. I know.
I am through Instagram and also Facebook.
That's at WTG.hardwoods. Right. That's all.
Yeah.
At WTG
Yes.
WTG.hardwoods. Yep, that's it.
All right. Thank you so much for being on here with us.
We greatly appreciate it, Mr. Mark.
My pleasure.
We'll hop off. And
Thanks for having me.
Dates.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
You bet. Take care
Good night.
now, everyone. Thanks.
Night.
Bye.
Ooh, that was awesome.
So, guys, it's
What'd I do?
ends. ENZ is ends. He's telling us that's Jason Ends, so now we know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So I had to move my mic down so that it picks up the audio for the podcast later, or people fuss at me because the
And
audio's
then you're making a bunch of noise with your
This
thing
is
over
where
there. Thank all of you so much for your love and support of
Yep.
having Mr. Mark on here.
And y'all do.
Paul Mood, I'm sorry things have been crazy at work, but glad you made it. Better late than never.
That's right. Hey, and y'all would do us a solid favor if you would just
He is, Stephanie. He's
hit
the
him up
best.
on his email or his Instagram and let him know you appreciate him coming on the show and taking the time out of his evening to join us. He has so much knowledge in hardwoods. Like I'm fascinated by everything that he knows and shares with us. When I was in the store, that's why we was there for 5 hours. She was talking to his wife, who is just a wonderful person. And then I was talking to
the whole family.
Yeah. And then I was talking to Mr. Mark, and we just kept talking and talking and talking. We shared each other's testimony. We just like best friends.
Let me tell you a little bit about his son, because I know a lot of you are parents.
Mm-hmm.
Becca, I know she's got a son. So those of you that have boys, listen to what Mr. Mark's son did. He's going into 7th grade. Yes, going into 7th grade. And a few years ago, his art teacher tells him to draw a. Oh wait, no. They were doing a lesson on simplicity. They were doing a lesson on simplicity.
It's genius level.
And so they go through it's this whole lesson about circles and the simplicity of a circle. And she brings in glitter and puff balls and glue and like dozens of different items they can choose from, and they have to create their own circle, their simplistic circle and everything, and they're going to be hung out in the hallway at school. So he gets his paper and he takes up one like felt tip black marker thing and puts a dot in the center of the page and turns it in. And she's like, "What is this?" And he said, "Well, the moral of your lesson was simplicity, a simple circle, a simple dot." And she was like, oh, okay. And so the next thing she did, they had to draw their favorite, they had to create their own superhero, not their favorite. They had to create their own superhero, draw it and turn it in. So he hands it a blank sheet of paper and she says, "Why is this blank?" He said, "Oh, because my superhero is invisible."
Yes. Yes.
That
is genius. That is genius.
I was like, oh my gosh. But
genius. I mean,
I'd
Come
have to
on.
give that kid an A.
He needed an A plus, and probably just pass him on to the next grade for that. Let's be honest.
Okay, so Ed said, I want to adopt him. I know. I was right there with you, Ed. I was right there.
It's
I was
awesome.
like, that is fantastic. I'm a school teacher. I said, I would have to give you 100 for that.
Yeah.
Tell me, how do you argue with that?
I'm telling you, he should just go on to the next grade.
It's amazing. Okay, so states really quick. We've got Minnesota, Alabama, Florida, Appalachian Mountains in North
Yes, I
Carolina
like
and
that.
South Carolina, Connecticut,
always wanted to
Texas,
go with the
Maryland,
Appalachian
Maine,
Trail.
Kentucky, Kansas, Georgia, Vermont, Arkansas, Ohio, New York, Virginia, Wisconsin, Tennessee, Indiana, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Mississippi. Whew.
Brother Riv won't know about his social media links, Instagram and Facebook. It's at WTG.hardwoods is where you can follow him at, and at WTG Hardwoods. After the video, I'll try to go out and grab those links and just put them directly in the description of this video. So if you're watching this on replay or you want to come back and just go grab them from there, we'll do that. And then I think I've linked his website as well in the description. You can go check out his cutting board kits. Sounds like he may have some kosher kits coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be cool. And then we're also making videos of making cutting boards out of his cutting board kits especially for beginners or for a family project. If you want to do a project with your kids, where they don't have to work with power tools or grandkids, Brother Riv, just get a kit. Everything's already cut. Everything's already dimensioned. All you have to do is put glue on it and clamp it up and then square the ends up. You can chamfer the edges to make it a little more detailed. Brother Riv can even put that aircraft carrier design he does on his under there if you want. But it's a good, easy beginner woodworking project.
We also have Illinois, Alaska, and Arizona.
Yep.
And Becca said that it sounds
Texas.
like her life. I said Texas. She said her son is so smart and witty just like that. See,
That's awesome.
y'all, I'm just telling you.
Mm.
I said Texas. People.
Yep. So y'all do us a favor and check him out. Follow him on Instagram,
I did say
Facebook.
Texas.
And then also give him a shout out there. Just send him a message and let him know.
So,
we appreciate
okay,
him.
Jar Jar, the reason I always say Mississippi last is because it's my favorite. Because that's where I'm from.
Yep.
So I always say, you got to save the best for last. I love all you other states out there, okay? I don't live in Mississippi. But I'm a Mississippi girl at heart. So that's why
Stephanie, I'm going to get you the link. I'll drop it in the chat.
Jonathan Haney.
For that PVC trick. Let me find it because it's going to take me just a second. She can talk while I do this.
I'm nervous about talking in front of the camera.
Oh, I got it right here anyway. But hold on. You're going to have to talk for a minute.
Oh, so I had to, what are you pulling up?
Girl, I told you.
I'm getting distracted. What are you pulling up?
I got you. All right. So here's a link to that video time-stamped. So this a Russian YouTuber.
Oh, that's the one you watched.
Yep. So I put the link in the chat. You can check that out. That's a Russian YouTuber who uses PVC pipe too, and Brother Riv uses too. You can put the cutting board on those PVC pipes and it keeps it flat while you're gluing it up. So you don't have to worry about when you take it off and put it on the table that it gets whompy jawed on you.
Jar Jar, I love that song. When that song come out, it was like, it spoke to my heart.
Yep.
I like Faith Hill anyway.
So
that song, whoo.
It's Working the Grain on Facebook. Brother Riv, thank you.
We don't know if we're going to plane it.
No, Dexter, if you glue it up right, you can sand it flat. So you don't need a planer or a jointer. However, if you have a planer, it makes the process a lot faster. You don't have to stand there for however long it takes you to sand it. Now, I started on one of them. I started sanding it, and it was working fine. I was like, yeah, I don't want to stand here all day. Zip, and threw it through the planer. So, yep.
You took the easy way out.
I did. I cheated.
Robin, yep, once Mississippi, always Mississippi. It's funny, every time we go through Mississippi, going anywhere or go there or whatever, as soon as we go over that bridge and the Mississippi sign is there, I always say, oh, it just feels like home. It just feels like home. I don't know. I'm from the Delta, though, so it's not a pretty
Mark Weeda wants to know why is it every time he looks for hardwood places in his search engine, he gets flooring places. That's probably because that's what most people search for. So they're giving you what they think. What I would search for is hardwood lumber, which is what I would search for, or hardwood lumber dealer, hardwood lumber distributor, something like that.
You can turn it into a drum sander. SoCal Wood Design is.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Awesome, man. That was awesome.
Thank you, Jeff Odom.
It was really awesome of Mr. Mark to come on, and he's just full of knowledge.
Oh, Rob's from the Delta too. Still lives there. What
Cool.
part?
In the Delta. The kind where you can see your dog run away for 3 days. That's funny. I'm at a traffic stop on a guy one time, and I was like, "Hey man, why you going so fast?" He was hauling tail. I was like, "Man, what's your hurry?" He's like, "Man, I'm from the Delta." He said, "Over there you can see your dog run away for 3 days." I started laughing. I was like, "Man, get out of here." That was funny. I ain't never heard that.
Oh, Greenville is where I was born and raised, Rob. That's where I was born. I was adopted, and my biological father still lives in Greenville. And so if we ever get a chance, we go over there. My sister actually lived in Greenville up until about a month ago. Moved to Long Beach.
Yep. Eric Witzel wants to know, he showed up late, but that's all right. We can go back and watch this replay. Want to know where you can find Chittenden burl. I have no idea what that is. I'm assuming it's wood. If it is, Mr. Mark will probably help you out.
What?
What?
What you saying? Mo is saying, really, Daddy? And
On the where I was talking about the dog run away for 3 days. Somebody out there laughed at that because it was funny. I know it was funny. It was funny when I heard it. So I don't sell these. I always buy these from somewhere. Looking at back here and back tag, and we'll find out where this one's from.
How am I supposed? Oh Lord, have mercy. Beacon Threads.
Beacon Threads is where I got this one.
Eyes, you just threw me under the bus on camera.
Typically where I buy my shirts is Caruso.com. I'm a big fan of theirs. I buy a bunch of their shirts. I think God the Father is one of a different place. Mardale.com. They sell a lot of Caruso shirts. Mardale does. But this one I saw as an a Facebook ad. I was like, that is sweet.
If you like any of the current Christian music that's out, things like Waymaker, things like that, Mardale, they sell a lot of those shirts that have the Christian lyrics, the music lyrics on them. And a lot of times they run sales. So if you buy one, you get 150% off. Yep. They run those constantly.
Mardale.com.
Mardale, no S. Mardel.com. And they also run a thing where if you just order one at regular price, you can get 40% off of it, off of one item at regular price. So good night, Lloyd Wagner. And you have a great week as well. Lloyd. Our other Lloyd was in here earlier, and he said, "Hey, I'm a Lloyd too." And y'all were talking, I couldn't get back to it. It was Lloyd Moulton, though. So yes, we have two Lloyds in the house.
All right. Well, and it was awesome.
Like it's too hard to stand Neil. Oh, Ed, I've seen those shirts. I want one of those. When like it's too hard to stand Neil.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Larry Thompson. Good night, everyone. Okay. So I was just reading. David put on there Mardale. Yes, that's right. Fist bump.
Thank you, Jackie. You have a blessed one also.
All right.
Be sure to let Mr. Mark know you appreciate him coming on because we sincerely appreciate him. He's always been really generous for us, and he's a big supporter of the channel, and he's just an awesome all-around guy.
Oh, SoCal was saying if you don't have a planer, you can use a wood lathe and turn it into a drum sander. YouTube is cool. Yeah, they've got a lot of.
You can always hand plane that dude.
Night, Becca. Love you.
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Night.